Hey, welcome to today's lesson. Today we are chatting about leaky gut and a leaky gut protocol to help fix and correct the problem. I just want to go in a little bit more as to what exactly it is, and how we correct it. I know many of you out there are struggling with that, and I just want to really dumb it down. So it's simple. It is not easy to fix. It takes diligence and some persistence, and it does take some time. Just like it took time to damage that gut, it's going to take time to heal it. So still get to eat food, and it doesn't have to be terrible. Just need to do the do, stay the course, make sure it's healed, and your health will be so much better for it. So put in the time, put in the effort. You can do it. You can do anything. 6 weeks is what I'm asking you for this to heal it properly. Some of you who have a really messed up gut will likely need longer. But we start in 3-week increments. We can do this. You can do anything for 3 weeks, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. You've got this. So I just want to talk a little bit more about what leaky gut is. I know I keep talking about it in these lessons, but it is important. I really want you to understand the importance of fixing this before we start moving on to the rest of the program. So if your small intestine becomes more permeable, which means that leaky gut, it allows abnormally large food molecules to enter into your bloodstream. So these undigested or incomplete digested molecules, they stimulate an allergic or immune response, both in the intestinal wall and elsewhere throughout the body. So in addition to having gastrointestinal complaints like acid reflux, pains in your gut after you're eating, you may get symptoms like stuff in the skin, which would be like hives or eczema, in your joints, arthritis, absolutely, things in your lungs like asthma, bronchitis. So when the small intestine loses its filtration abilities, it both absorbs what it shouldn't and doesn't absorb what it should. Okay, so let's think of that one. It absorbs what it shouldn't and doesn't absorb what it should. So things like vitamin B12 and all your fat soluble, having trouble speaking, and all your fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. So those pass through a leaky gut with real great difficulty, right? So we're not absorbing what we should. We're not getting all those essential minerals and vitamins that we need on a daily basis. So this will often lead you to being deficient in really vital nutrients. So we also need to remember that the small intestine is your first line of defense when it comes to our immune system. So not only does it prevent harmful microbes and toxic substances from entering your bloodstream, it also produces an antibody called IgA that neutralizes invaders and prevents them from attaching to membranes. So again, really, really important, and I can't emphasize enough how much we need to fix this leaky gut before we really get into this program. So there are many symptoms for leaky gut. You may have one, you may have them all, but they can include things like constipation, diarrhea, pain in your stomach, bloating, indigestion, gas, mucus or blood in the stools, chronic joint pain, muscle pains, fatigue, tiredness, fuzzy thinking, confusion, poor memory, mood swings, poor exercise tolerance, weak immunity, shortness of breath, skin rashes, hives and eczema, asthma, bronchitis, respiratory infections, sinus and nasal congestion, food allergies and intolerances. Alcohol consumption may make one feel sick. So let's remember that chronic joint pain comes from leaky gut. So we heal that, there is a good possibility that we're healing that chronic joint pain. Okay, so a leaky gut can be caused by a whole slew of things. It can be caused by gluten intolerance like celiac disease, can be caused by NSAIDs, right? Those non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that we've been given for our arthritis, alcohol, intestinal parasites, food sensitivities, candida is a big one. Or by continually overloading a sluggish digestive system with far more food than it can handle, right? So overeating and eating crap food, right? Processed foods, sugars, that kind of stuff. None of that is good for the body. It's certainly not good for your gut, okay? So all these contributing factors need to be identified and eliminated in order to allow the intestinal wall to heal itself, okay? Let's see, where else are we going before we start the protocol? I think we're just going to jump right in to how are we going to do this. So there are two phases, phase 1, phase 2. Foods that we need to avoid in phase 1. Here you've got it. Okay, so listen up. I'm going to write all this in the written portion here, so you don't need to take notes if you don't want to. Just listen, take it in. Okay, so foods to avoid. All milk products. So I know we talk about that yogurt and kefir are really good for the gut, adding good bacteria, healthy bacteria. It absolutely does. But right now for phase 1, we need to eliminate that in order to heal the gut. Those can be added in later, okay, once we've got that gut on track. Okay, so things like butter, buttermilk, cheese, cottage cheese, ice cream, milk, kefir, milk, pork, and yogurt. Okay, so all those need to be avoided. Again, this is phase 1. This is 3 weeks only. Okay, 3 weeks, we can do anything. Grains, amaranth, barley, buckwheat, bulgur, corn. Corn is not a vegetable, people. It is a grain. Kamut, millet, oats, quinoa. Quinoa, you know what? I'm not sure if quinoa should actually be on there. Quinoa is not actually a grain. Technically, it's a seed. So I am going to look at that. Seed. I'm going to look into that. So let's just hold off on the quinoa. What else do we have? Rice, rye, semolina, spelt, wheat, and wild rice. Okay, so that is all grains off the list for right now. Legumes we want to avoid: peas, beans, lentils, chickpeas, soy, and tofu. Starchy vegetables, so beets, carrots, parsnips, potatoes, pumpkin, winter squash, sweet potatoes, turnips, and yam. High glycemic fruits, so bananas, dried fruits, and fruit juices. Those need to be off the list. Sugars, all sugar, brown sugar, cane sugar, corn syrup, all of them, dextrose, glucose, icing sugar, maltodextrin, maltose, maple syrup, molasses, raw sugar, rice syrup, sucrose, table sugar, all of it, white sugar, all needs to go. Alcoholic beverages need to go, and nuts and seeds. Okay, so the nuts and seeds need to go. So I'm thinking quinoa is probably off. So we will eliminate that one in phase 1. Again, only 3 weeks, okay? So let's talk about what we can have in the 3 weeks. So we want a hydrolyzed, which is a pre-digested protein powder. And you know what, an isolate will work well as well. So either the isolate or the hydrolyzed, okay? And we want to blend that with water or water and fresh fruit, not juice. We're not using juice, but fresh fruit to make a smoothie. So this is a great start to the day. We can be using fresh whole fruits, wide variety. So we want to encourage the stomach to be full of different bacteria again, right? So when we're trying to rebuild and replenish the healthy bacteria in our gut, we want to use a wide variety of foods to help accomplish this. So we want to be using, let's see, apples, apricots, berries of all kind, cantaloupe, cherries, fresh currants, fresh figs, not dried, grapefruit, grapes, guava, honeydew, kiwi, lemons, limes, mangoes, nectarines, oranges, papayas, passion fruit, peaches, pears, persimmon, pineapple, plums, pomegranate, star fruit, tangerine, and watermelon. So there's a big list there that you still can have. And I want you to enjoy those, okay? Then we've got fresh veg, so the non-starchy vegetables. So we want alfalfa sprouts, artichokes, asparagus, bamboo shoots, bean sprouts, beet greens. That's the top of the beets, not the actual beets themselves, okay? And those you can chop up and throw in a salad. They're delicious. Bell peppers, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, celery, chicory greens, chives, cilantro, clove sprouts, collard greens, cucumber, daikon, dandelion greens, eggplant, endive, fennel, garlic, green beans, horseradish, iceberg lettuce, jicama, kale, kohlrabi, leeks, okra, onions, radish, romaine lettuce, mustard greens, parsley, pickles, sauerkraut, scallions, spaghetti squash, spinach, summer squash, Swiss chard, tomatillo, tomatoes, turnip greens, watercress, yellow beans, green beans, and zucchini. That's a huge list as well. Okay, so let's not, hopefully we're not feeling like we're going to be deprived too much. And then olive oil, we want to be taking in 2 to 3 tablespoons per day. So this we want to take at the same time as your veg. Okay, so not with your fruit, but with your veg. So this is where we're going to separate things. So say for breakfast, you're going to have a shake with fruit and water. That's going to be your breakfast. For lunch, we are going to do your a fresh salad. Let's see here. A fresh salad with your olive oil dressing. Make your own. I can send out some recipes for those. They're quite delicious. Okay, we can also have honey. You can have one, or we should be having 1 tablespoon a day for this first phase. You want it in between your meals, or you can have it with your fruit. Okay. Let's see, in beverages, we want purified water. We can have decaffeinated teas, decaffeinated coffee, and then we can also add things like lemon juice, lime juice, and vinegar. So if we want to make your salad dressing, we can use lemon juice, vinegar, and olive oil, and that's delicious on there. What else? So we want to think about having our largest meal for lunch, okay? We want to wait 3 hours after any meal that contains your olive oil before consuming anything else. So I would do your shake in the morning, your salad at lunch, and that with your olive oil, and then yeah, so there's 3 hours between those two. And then 30 minutes after any fruit or your protein shake is when you can consume that olive oil. Okay, so 3 hours after you consume the olive oil before you eat anything else, and we want 30 minutes after you eat fruit or your protein shake, then you can have your olive oil, if that makes sense. Let's see, and then as long as all those the timing guidelines are followed, you can consume fresh fruit or veggies without oil as a separate snack as often as you want throughout the day. Okay, then we go into phase 2. So phase 2, we've got, now we're adding a whole bunch of stuff. So let's see here. Let's go into okay, so the guidelines are the same for phase 1 as for phase 2, except now we're going to add nuts without skins, so blanched. We can add seeds, eggs, fish, or poultry can be consumed again. And every time we've got an animal protein, we want to make sure that we're taking a digestive enzyme, okay? Every time we're having meat, we're going to take a digestive enzyme with that in order to help your body absorb properly and digest it properly. And then we can also add in supplements into this phase. So it's going to help us get all those nutrients back on track, okay? All right, so let's see here. So we've got so phase 2. I think that is it. Don't have. Yeah, I think that is it. Looking through my notes here. Yeah, so our phase 2, we follow the same guidelines as phase 1, except that protein foods are added this time. So we've got our eggs, our fish, our poultry, fermented soy like miso, tempeh, or tofu. And again, every time we eat a protein, we want to take an appropriate digestive enzyme with every protein that we're eating. So we also, like I said, want to add a vitamin and mineral supplement. And I believe that's it. So 3 weeks for phase 1, 3 weeks for phase 2. It's a tricky one. It's very strict, but this is going to get you back on track. And heal that gut so that we can move forward on this process and on this journey to healing your arthritis and getting things back on track. That's all for now. I'm going to write all this out for you down below. So have a read, go through it. If you have questions, send me a message, let me know, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.